Good afternoon. The 47th meeting of the 73rd term of your Baltimore City Council is now called to order. In keeping with City Hall policy, we ask all guests to wear masks at all times. If you have an electronic device, we ask that you silence that electronic device, if not turning it off. The council is completely vaxxed and as well as boosted. So at this time, we're going to jump into our invocation. It will be delivered by Rabbi David Heber from Kal Ahavas Yisrael Zamak Zadik. Did I do it okay? All right. Here in Baltimore City, Rabbi Heber, the pleasure is mine. I ask you to please begin.
Thank you very much. Rabbi Hanina, the deputy high priest of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, Israel, taught in the first century an important lesson that is recorded in the early Talmudic work, Ethics of Our Fathers. Havi mispalel b'shlomo shel malchus, pray for the welfare of the king. The commentaries explain that this prayer is not only recited for a head of state, it is also recited for all those who work at every level of government. This is because government maintains social order and peace, which would, God forbid, not exist without it. We are most grateful and thank all of you for the work you do. It is therefore a great honor to publicly fulfill the words of this great sage by reciting a prayer on behalf of those assembled here today and the entire Baltimore city government who work tirelessly for the residents of our wonderful city. This Sunday evening, the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah will begin, and we will celebrate the redemption of the rededication of the Holy Temple that took place over 2,000 years ago. At that time, the menorah in the temple was kindled, and the only available one-day supply of pure olive oil miraculously lasted for 8 days. On each night of Hanukkah, we light the menorah to commemorate this miracle, as well as the continuity of our holy Torah and its commandments, despite great resistance and oppression at that time and throughout our long history. There is great symbolism in the menorah upon which we can base our prayer. The various branches of the menorah represent the different branches of wisdom. One of the candles in the temple, the Western lamp, continued to burn 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The light that shines from our homes onto the street symbolizes our responsibility to consistently light up a world that for some seems very dark. Furthermore, the placement of the menorah in our homes symbolizes that we must protect ourselves and our families from improper influences that try to enter our lives. On the first night of Hanukkah, we light 1 candle. On the second night, 2 candles, and so on. This symbolizes how we strive to increase in holiness. Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the universe, grant the Honorable Council President, esteemed members of the City Council, law enforcement personnel, first responders, and all government officials, employees and staff, the wisdom to make decisions that will greatly benefit the residents of Baltimore. Give these public servants the stamina and strength to cater to the needs of our community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give them the ability to protect us and our families from harm, as well as evil actions and influences. Like the light of a menorah, give them and all the citizens of Baltimore the opportunity to bring light, joy, and happiness to those less fortunate. Almighty God, bestow your blessing on these great individuals and upon all the citizens of the city of Baltimore so that we and our families can live in a safe environment with good health and prosperity, continue to fulfill your commandments, and perform more good deeds. Amen.
Amen. Rabbi, thank you for that amazing invocation. At this time, we'll state the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, if you could please read the roll.
President Mosby.
Keep going.
President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Dorsey, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Porter, Costello, Stokes, Glover, Ramos. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Without objection, the journal will be adopted. Hearing and seeing none, the journal is adopted. Bills signed by the mayor can be found at the beginning of page 2. We'll now turn to bills to be introduced. Mr. Clerk, if you could please read the first bill.
City Council Bill 22-0327, Study and Report Analyzing Disparities Between Minority Women-Owned and Non-Minority Women-Owned Businesses. For the purpose of requiring the Director of Finance, the City Administrator, the City Solicitor, the Director of Minority and Women's Business Opportunity Office, and the Director of Office of Equity and Civil Rights to submit a report that details any disparities that exist between minority women-owned businesses and non-minority women-owned businesses operating in Baltimore City, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor, Mosby.
This bill will be assigned to Public Safety and Government Operations Committee. Next up, we'll go into resolutions to be introduced.
City Council Resolution 22-0147R, recognizing the service of Marilyn Mosby. For the purpose of recognizing Marilyn Mosby, State's Attorney for Baltimore City, for her 8 years of distinguished service to the City of Baltimore. Sponsor, Mosby.
At this time, I'd like to recognize Vice President of the City Council. Madam Vice President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, just some comments about our State's Attorney, Marilyn Mosby. I first met Marilyn Mosby when the Council President was running for the 7th District Council seat, and saw his wife, very energetic. I can't remember if she was pregnant at the time as well, but just full of energy and life, and just knew that this woman was going to be doing other things in our city just because of what I saw. Her heart was just pouring into the service and work that she was doing. And lo and behold, she ran and became the state's attorney for 8 years. I didn't really know much about the state's attorney's office, and a lot of constituents in our city didn't. And she brought to life and educated our communities in what the state's attorney's office did. Was always out in the communities. She, right in my district in the Zeta Center, gave lots of forums just educating the public on what that office does and the problems we have with our criminal justice system. And, you know, I just thank her for just being a strong woman and trying to break barriers in our city that we as a council still continue to try to break as well in our own ways. And again, public service, when you really put your heart and soul and you care about the people in the city of where you live and spend most of your time, raise your children, it's just, she brought that office to light, gave so many programs that she has started. I and everyone on the council knows my passion with kind of rebooting the Women's Commission. She was one of the first people to show up at that gathering that I just had, where, you know, 75 to 100 women showed. She was one of the first elected officials to show up there. So it just showed to me that she's in tune with everything that goes on in this city, and just tried her best to you know, education is so important. And, you know, women we continue to have barriers ourselves that we continue to fight. When I started on the council, there were 7 women. You know, now there are 4. We still work hard with wages and so on. She has been there at the forefront with all of those continued issues. And State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, I just want to thank you for your 8 years of public service, and you continue that fight and continue to do what you do in helping the women of the city, our children, our just all around constituency is just so important, and people know what you have done and continue to do, and you hold your head up high and you keep moving and doing good things for our city and throughout our nation. And on that note, I don't know if any other council members have anything that they'd like to add, but
Chairman Stokes said he would like to add.
Thank you, Mr. President. State's Attorney Marilyn Mosley, thank you for your 8 years here in Baltimore. But on this body, and when you elect official, you have to make decisions. And you're going to make decisions people ain't going to always agree with. You vote yes, they don't like it. You vote no, you don't like it. What's important that the diversion program for our young people, get them getting some alternatives before they end up being incarcerated. And I think that's a great program here in Baltimore. And again, State's Attorney, thank you for everything you did. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Madam Vice President.
I'd like to move this for immediate adoption.
We have to suspend the rules.
I suspend the rules to move this to immediate adoption.
Without objection, the rules are suspended. Hearing no objections, the rules are suspended. Madam Vice President.
I move that we,
The resolution be adopted.
that the resolution be adopted. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk.
President Mosby.
Aye.
Cohen.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the intent of this legislation. I appreciate every hardworking public servant, whether elected or non-elected, in the city of Baltimore. However, I'm concerned that this is neither the place nor time nor correct venue for this resolution. The current state's attorney, Ms. Mosby, will be our state's attorney until January 23rd. She is still an elected official, and as the legislative body of the city of Baltimore, it is our job to both hold her in her office.
Please, Mr. Cohen, we've talked about this before. It's important for us to be responsible stewards of information. And when we say things that are so egregiously wrong, like what you're saying, it's important for us to stop. Her term does not go to January the 23rd.
The next state's attorney will be inaugurated then.
No, sir, that's wrong.
When
It's so far past the date, but that's completely wrong. This is our last council hearing for the new transition of the new administration. I think it's appropriate for this body to recognize before the new administration comes in, because at that time we'll be working with the new administration. That's why we're meeting today, but for you to say the date of January 23rd, again, you're just providing like information that is so wrong and so unfair to the public, because they expect you as a public servant to provide accurate information.
The current state's attorney is still our state's attorney. Therefore, I believe it is inappropriate for us to vote on a resolution in either support or dismissal of her. It is our job to hold both her office accountable as well as partner with her in those instances where we can advance her mission to reduce violent crime. I therefore vote no.
Thank you.
McCray.
We're honoring another representative as well. Thank you for your service, and I vote yes.
Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Stokes. Ramos.
Thank you. The motion is approved. The resolution is adopted. At this time, I will extend floor privileges to the state's attorney if you would like to speak. This is consistent with what we've done in the past on this body. Obviously, Marilyn is my wife. That's not a secret. But I too can honor a strong black woman in the city who stood steadfast to move our city in the right direction. The fact that she has maybe 2 weeks left in office, and we will have to continue to work with her for 2 weeks, probably provides no additional concern as it relates to us properly honoring her. Very similar to what we did to Avery when he was going to retire, before he retired, as well as Matt Stegman. In the past, we've honored 2 white men on this floor while they were still serving us, while Matt still worked with us. And I think providing the same opportunity for the second female elected state's attorney for the city of Baltimore and what she's done, regardless of that being my wife, is appropriate as well. So at this time, I will provide her the opportunity to speak, as we've done for Matt as well as Avery. So at this time, if you want to speak, you come up right here. We did it the same way with Matt and Avery.
So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you, Mr. President, also my husband, Madam Vice President, and the esteemed members of the Baltimore City Council. Thank you for your partnership. The past 8 years has not been easy, and I don't know why I'm so emotional. I usually don't get emotional, but I'm so grateful for the work that you all do every single day. People don't understand the sacrifice that it takes to be a public servant in a city where you raise your children, in a city that you love so much. And the one thing that I can say from the bottom of my heart is that being the state's attorney for Baltimore City has been the greatest joy of my life. Every day I came in and gave it my best. And I made controversial decisions, but was steadfast in my decision to do the right thing. And so I want to thank, not just you, but my staff. Every single member of the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office, we don't get paid a whole lot of money. We are beat up in the press every day. But those committed attorneys, those committed community liaisons, those committed advocates, victim witness advocates that get out here and do this work every single day, they don't do it for praises. They don't do it for political recognition. They do it because they're committed to the citizens of this city. And yes, I represent them every single day. And that has been the greatest joy of my life. As a little girl, I dreamed of reforming a criminal justice system and making America live up to its ideals of justice and freedom and equality for everybody. I can say we have not gone without our unprecedented challenges in the past 8 years. But what I can honestly tell you is that it has been the greatest joy of my life. And I thank you for partnering with me. I thank you for supporting the people in my office. I thank you for, despite all the instability that has existed, still being there to support the needs of my office throughout the past 8 years. And so with that, I just want to say thank you, God bless you, and continued success.
That motion is approved. The resolution has been adopted. Mr. Clerk.
City Council Resolution 22-0148R, informational hearing, catalytic converter theft in Baltimore City. For the purpose of inviting the Baltimore City Sheriff's Office and the Baltimore Police Department to brief the City Council on catalytic converter theft in the city, the scope of the problem, the potential solutions that are available. Sponsor, Stokes.
At this time, we'd like to recognize Chairman Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Catalytic converter thefts continue nationwide. Thieves can steal your catalytic converter in minutes. In 2020, 14,500 converters were stolen. In 2021, it jumped to 50,000. Converters hit a all-time high of 43,219 nationally in a year. That increase of 109 increase. California and New York were the states that passed some laws. I'm asking my colleagues to support this because I've been getting calls about these converters, and they're very expensive. Your insurance company do not cover them, and we need to address that here in the city because it's been a whole lot of people calling me and actually sending me emails talking about their converters were removed from their car. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. You're going to call for immediate adoption? Suspend the rules? No? We're good? All right. We have a sponsor, Madam Councilwoman Odette Ramos. Councilman Cohen, Councilman Torrance, Councilman Burnett. Yes, so that will be assigned to Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. We put in Public Safety? All right. If we could please reflect that Madam Vice President would also like to be on as a co-sponsor, and I was incorrect, we are putting this in Public Safety. Next up, Mr. Clerk.
City Council Resolution 22-0149R, recognizing the service of Honorable Sheriff John W. Anderson. For the purpose of recognizing the Honorable John W. Anderson, Sheriff of Baltimore City, for his distinguished service to the City of Baltimore. Sponsor, Ramos.
At this time, I'd like to call the sponsor to the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. I thought it appropriate to honor Sheriff John Anderson because of his literally over 50 years of service to our city. He's been in the Sheriff's Department the entire time and made sheriff by Governor William Donald Schaefer in 1989 as an appointment. He attended Baltimore City College, which I represent, and he's also my constituent. Under the sheriff's leadership, there's been a lot of good things that have happened in the sheriff's office. He also oversaw the formation of the Domestic Violence Unit, which is a specialized portion of the office dedicated to serving peace orders and protecting residents from intimate partner violence. And they have doubled the service rate for those peace orders and protective orders. He's in talking with some of his colleagues. Lots of people thought he was obviously a great person and a dedicated public servant, and we want to honor him for his 50 years of service to the city. I know we weren't able to get him here today, but we'll certainly make sure that he gets a proper resolution for his years of service. So thank you, Mr. President, and I move to suspend the rules, or I don't know if anybody wants to.
No, that's right. Yeah. Does anybody else would like to say anything about the sheriff? Yes, Chairman Stokes.
Mr. President, I just want to mention that, first of all, the sheriff is a Dunbar graduate. When we have crime in our city and when I needed, or Eastern District needed some assistance, the sheriff office always stepped up. Not just crime, but different events around the city. The Orioles game, the Ravens game. So John has been a legend here in that office, but all the other great things that they do besides just issuing warrants, they have been doing since he's been there. So it's great to have this resolution for John because it's well deserved, and his deputies also. They don't always get the credit. They're the lowest paid law enforcement in the whole state of Maryland. We don't acknowledge that. Them guys work hard, so I'm glad to stand up and acknowledge that with John getting today, he deserves every bit of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anybody else like to say anything? Councilman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sheriff Anderson is no longer in office, so I will be voting in support of this resolution and want to say while I did not agree with some of the decisions he made, he was one of the nicest human beings on this planet. Agree with my colleague that our sheriff's deputies are deeply underpaid for the service that they do. Many of them live in the city of Baltimore and appreciate their service as well as his. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilwoman Ramos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rules for immediate adoption.
Without objection, the rules will be suspended.
And I move this
Hearing and seeing none, the rules are suspended. Councilwoman Ramos.
Thank you, and I move this resolution for immediate adoption.
Thank you so much. At this time, Mr. Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
President Mosby.
Aye.
Cohen. McCray. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton. Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Stokes. Ramos.
The motion is approved. The resolution has been adopted. As Councilwoman Ramos noted, we reached out to Sheriff Anderson. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but we would absolutely love to have him to give him his flowers today as well. You can find the consent calendar in Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar? All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The consent calendar is approved. You can find, again, it on Section A in the back of the agenda. Yeah. We'll now move to bills on second reader. Before we do, I'd like to recognize Madam Vice President to ask that we go into short titles for the duration of this meeting.
Second.
You have to say it. She knows. She's well aware. She's fine.
I know, I'm sorry.
Does.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I moved to read short titles for the duration of the meeting.
Without objection, we'll be in short titles for duration of meeting. Hearing and seeing none, we are in short titles. First, we're going to go to ECD. Mr. Clerk, if you could please read in the bill.
City Council Ordinance 22-0226, Urban Renewal, Charles North, Renewal Area Designation and Urban Renewal Plan.
At this time, I'd like to recognize Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Look, I'm just ready to get down to business. Bill number 22-226. This bill was heard on December 13th, 2022. I move the amendments.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Madam Vice President.
I move the bill favorable as amended.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill will move on as amended.
And I just want to add, too, that the Charles North Urban Renewal Plan is due to expire at the end of this year on 12/31/22. So at the appropriate time, I will put forth a motion to double read this bill.
At this time, we can do that to invoke Rules 12-1, Madam Clerk, Madam Vice President.
And I'd like to invoke the Rules 12-1 to move Bill number 22-0226 to third reader.
On same day.
On same day.
Is there a second for that? It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. We're going to move it forward. We do have to make a vote on this, so we're going to make a vote. So, Mr. Clerk, if you could please read the vote.
President Mosby.
Aye.
Cohen. McCray. Conway. Schleifer. Middleton.
Yes.
Torrance. Burnett. Bullock. Stokes. Ramos.
The ayes have it. The bill moves for third reading. Ms. Clerk, if you could please go into the next bill.
City Council Ordinance 22-0227, zoning conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 2 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district, 43-45 South Carey Street.
At this time, I'd like to recognize Vice President of the Council. Madam Vice President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill number 22-0227. This bill was also heard on December 13th, 2022. I move the findings of fact.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Finding of the facts are adopted. Madam Vice President.
And I move the amendments.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Madam Vice President.
And I move the bill favorable as amended.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill will be printed for third reading as amended. Mr. Clerk.
City Council Ordinance 22-0261, rezoning 801 South Haven Street, Block 6458, Lot 004A, and Block 6467, Lot 021A, and a portion of Block 6458, Lot 004.
At this time, the council would like to recognize Vice President of the Council. Madam Vice President, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bill number 22-0261 was also heard on December 13th, 2022. I move the findings of fact.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Finding of facts are adopted. Madam Vice President.
I move the amendments.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Madam Vice President.
And I move the bill favorable as amended.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor of approving the bill as amended, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill moves forward as amended for third reading. Mr. Clerk.
City Council Ordinance 22-0276, zoning conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 2 dwelling units in the R8 zoning district. Variances 2722 Akintrali
Akintrali.
Terrace.
It's a Baltimore word. At this time, the body would like to recognize Vice President of the Council.
Thank you. Bill number 22-0276 was also heard on December 13th, 2022. I move the findings of fact.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Finding of the facts are adopted. Madam Vice President.
I move the bill favorable.
It's been moved and probably second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The bill moves forward as it was adopted and be printed for third reading. Bills on third reading, same-day advancement. We turn now to bills on third reading for final passage that require invocation of City Council Rule 12-1 for same-day advancement. The clerk will read through the roll. Mr. Clerk, first bill.
City Council 22-0226, Urban Renewal, Charles North Renewal Area Designation, Urban Renewal Plan. President Mosby. Cohen, McCray, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Stokes, Ramos.
The bill is approved. We turn now to bills on third reading for final passage. Mr. Clerk, if you could please read the bills and call roll.
City Council Bill 22-0302, Sale of Property 2801 Hartford Road, A portion of Block 4199, Revised Lot 9. President Mosby, Cohen, McCray, Conway, Schleifer, Middleton, Torrance, Burnett, Bullock, Stokes, Ramos.
The bill is approved. Now we're going to go into committee announcements. Chairs, when you hear your committee, please provide information on if you would like to speak. First up, ECD, Madam Vice President. Next up, Education, Workforce, and Youth, Chairman Stokes. Next up, Health, Environment, Technology. Thank you, Chairwoman McCray. Next up, Public Safety, Government Operations. Thank you, Chairman Conway. Next up, Rules and Legislative Oversight, Chairman Schleifer. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Ways and Means, Chairman Costello is absent. We now move to regular announcement. Members, please wait to be recognized. Any regular announcement? Are there any regular announcements at this time? The body would like to recognize Councilwoman Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to give a shout out for the 125th anniversary of the Hamden Fire Company, Engine 21. Went to visit them today, and I just brought them a resolution. They really deserve cupcakes, but we're very happy to have the company in our neighborhood, in our area, and of course, thank all of our firefighters for everything that they do. Thank you.
Thank you. And germane to that, Chairman Schleifer, can you talk about Engine 45?
So just about an hour ago, we kicked off the grand opening of the Engine 45 annual train garden that's been going on for 67 years. It's in the center of the 5th District and always a great place to bring your family and bring the kids. Every year is different. This year they've made a ton of improvements and enhancements, and they have different pieces from all across the city, and so it's definitely worthwhile to stop by. It's open every day until 8 p.m., including Saturday and Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Schleifer. Any additional? Chairman Stokes, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say congratulations to the Old Town Gators and Tavon. They are going to Florida for the championship. So those coaches that coach our young people, they work hard. And Old Town Gators have two teams going, and I just want to say congratulations to them.
Thank you so much. Any additional? Councilman Burnett, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wanted to invite the council and all of our constituents out. We're having a holiday celebration at Edmondson Village Shopping Center in partnership with the Edmondson Village Task Force, which is the organization that my office helped create and chairs and worked with the community on. A lot of folks in the past reminded us that Edmondson Village during its heyday, during Christmas season, was the place to go for the Christmas lights and everything else. And so we're trying to bring back that tradition as it's going through a change in ownership, hopefully soon. And so we're trying to start that tradition back up. So we're gonna have food, we're gonna have games. I will not be Santa Claus, but one of my staffers may or may not be. So come on out and check out his costume. But it was just something fun for the family, for the kids. So I just want to invite everybody out to that. It's on December 22nd from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So all are invited. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman Torrance.
Mr. President, colleagues, this evening, the 40th District and a number of us elected officials in the 40th District are having a Christmas party tonight. 2 Toys is an entry at Lexington Market from 5:30 to 7:30. And if you are free next week, we are giving 430 young people at Sandtown Winchester Academy a book bag filled with toys as well as groceries to go home for the holiday. It's with For My City, the Brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, the Baltimore Alumni Chapter, as well as the gentlemen of the Gamma Omicron Omega Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. We're inviting everybody. I feel like that. But we're going to need help. We're going to do it from 11 to 3. We're giving 430 young people toys while they're at school, and then also delivering actual food boxes to their homes before the holiday.
Thank you, Councilman. Any additional announcements? Hearing and seeing none. At this time, I would like to recognize our Vice President of the Baltimore City Council.
And before I do that, just a quick announcement to Catherine's Family and Youth Services and Langston Hughes Business and Community Resource Center. They are also giving toys away and having parties throughout the Park Heights community. So thank you for those organizations. The next meeting of the Baltimore City Council will be held on Monday, January 9th, 2023 at 5 p.m. At this time, we will recognize a moment of silence for the over 321 victims of homicide this year, the many Baltimoreans who have died from COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic, and of course our continued opioid epidemic and opioid epidemic, and also just the gun violence in our city just continues to be strong, and we need to just continue to pray for the families that continue to deal with this violence as we try our hardest to work to lessen and get guns off of the street, and it is going to take the community to work and step up so everyone is working together in partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no new business before the desk, this will conclude the 47th meeting of your 73rd term of the Baltimore City Council. Baltimore, we love you.